I woke up this morning thinking about a show that aired in 1990. And you're probably thinking, like, why are you thinking about this? But anyways, I was. And I think it's kind of relevant and really indicative of where I am in my life, because as I'm reflecting on this show, and for those of you that have seen it before, you'll know why I'm thinking this way. Anyways, the show is called Keeping Up with Appearances. It was a British TV show. The main character's name was Hyacinth, and she was really obsessed with doing just that, keeping up appearances, making sure to her neighbors she seemed like the perfect neighbor, that she appeared to be the perfect wife, that she was the perfect member of society. She didn't want to do anything wrong. And she put so much pressure on herself to keep up this idea that she was absolutely perfect, like that she had zero faults. And I remember thinking, like, why is she so like neurotic and strung out? I mean, I probably wasn't thinking, why is she neurotic? Because in 1990, I was only 10 years old. That's probably not what I was thinking. But at the same time, I remember going, like, why is she so obsessed with what everybody thinks about her? And through the eyes of a 10-year-old, I mean, yes, I had started to experience bullying and things like that, but I didn't have like the adult mind to even wrap my head around why she was engaging in some of these behaviors and why she was torturing her poor husband in the meantime. But it's interesting that this kind of came up for me this morning, because I'm going through this real evolution where I'm starting to discover the harm that the perfectionism fallacy is putting on all of us. And when I talk about the perfectionism fallacy, for some of you, that might be a new term coming from me. For others, maybe you've heard me talk about it before, but it's this real pressure from society to be something that is societally acceptable, as opposed to just being your real, true, unique self. And this now, when I think about like this type of show, and then I think about like some of the other media that we're consuming, especially like social media, television shows, as a woman specifically, really as a woman, to see all of these other people striving for greatness, striving to lose weight, striving to be perfect, striving to be something they're not, striving to be socially acceptable, striving to be normal. I realize like just how harmful this is to all of us as women, even as men too, honestly. You know, I can't leave my my men out of this, because there's so much pressure for them to look a certain way. And even right now, a lot of male celebrities are stepping out and saying, man, like, trying to get buff for movies, it's just so damaging to us, because the standards are so ridiculous and so far out there, like we can't even keep up, and it's really starting to hurt our own mental health. So just, I will say, as a society as a whole, this perfectionism fallacy is harmful, and it will continue to be harmful until we as individuals decide that we're done with it. You know, and I was talking to a client the other day, and she said, what is normal? What is perfect? What is normal specifically? She said, you know what normal is? It's a dryer setting. And I laughed out loud. I thought, you're right. Normal is a dryer setting. That's the only time normal is applicable. And to me, being like normal and being perfect are in the same category, because like what is normal, as according to society, is being perfect, having no flaws, being happy all the time, showing up and, you know, being sunshine and rainbows, and not having anything wrong with you, and just keeping up appearances. And I'm over it. And I think you guys have, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I'm at that point where I'm over it. And I want to talk more about it, because we're all feeling this pressure to adhere and strive for perfection. But let me ask you this, how will you know when you've reached perfect? Sit with that. Think about it for a second. How will you know as an individual when you're watching this video, how will you know when you're perfect? Is there a certain weight? Because I can guarantee you, once you hit your goal weight, because you can think right now, yes, I want to be 115 pounds, or I want to be 110 pounds. But once you get there, you'll be like, man, I can go further. Maybe I can take up even less space. It's never going to be enough. I want to reverse the aging process. Well, I mean, as I'm getting older myself, I am aging. I am 42 years old. Like, there's no stopping that. You know, I could go and get a bunch of Botox, and I could have a bunch of plastic surgery, and I could do all of those things. Yeah, but it's still not going to stop it, because it's like it's like an uphill battle. Especially as a woman, it's an uphill battle to achieve perfection. There's no achieving it, because even as much as I chase it and as much as I try, I'm still battling aging as well too. So like, what is the point, and how will I know when I get there? And the answer to that question is, there is no getting there, because it's a fallacy. This idea of perfection is a fallacy. And I mean, even for people Like if you look at the Kardashians, to a lot of people, that is like the standard and the perfection, like the beauty standard. That's what perfection looks like. To many people, that's probably the thought that comes into your head. But I can guarantee you, and you can see it when you're consuming their programming, that like the level of obsession, the amount of time it takes to look the way they do, and still they have criticism. Still people online tell them they're not good enough, they're not perfect enough. So even at that standard that society would deem as perfect, this is what perfect is, it's still not good enough. So what are we chasing? What are we chasing? I'm done chasing. And I would encourage you to be done chasing too, because I don't want to just simply live my life keeping up appearances. I would much rather, holy cow, I would much rather live my life just as Denise and be as true to that as possible. And if people don't like it, if society doesn't like it, if you don't like it, that's okay too. I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I want to start to stand up and stand out and do my work in the hopes that I can support even one woman in breaking free of that perfectionism fallacy, because every woman I work with is chasing that in one way or another. It might not look like, not every client is chasing for it from a looks perspective, but there's underlying conditioning elements that they're all chasing. They've all learned to chase this, to be perfect, to set the bar really high, to achieve. It just looks different to each individual client. And I want to do the very best work that I can do with as many women that I'm meant to work with to support them in breaking free of that perfectionism fallacy and being able to come into their own authentic self, as opposed to trying to chase something that wasn't meant for them. Because that's what this is. We're all chasing something that isn't meant for us. We're chasing a standard that is not ours. I want us to create new standards for ourselves. I want you to be able to create a new standard for yourself and redefine what it means to be you. And that's a lot of the work that I'm doing. And I will continue to strive towards that goal, because the more of us that stand together and say, to heck with perfectionism, I want to be me, the more we will uplift the world and the more we will raise its vibration and move us just a little bit forward and create something new for ourselves. So food for thought. How will you know when you're perfect? Let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts. But with that, I hope you are happy. I hope you are healthy. And I hope you are abundant above all else. And of course, make it a great day. Make it a great day. Make it a great day. We're stripping away perfectionism because it's a fallacy in our head. I know. Let's get to it.